A three with 1.6 on the right wing. And the Golden State Warriors win preseason game number 1 here in Honolulu, Hawaii. See you in a bit on your Clippers Audio Network.
Clippers Locker Room, breaking down today's action with the pre- and post-game voice of the Clippers. Here's Adam Mockler.
Well, Waters 3 was wet and the Clippers fall on a game winner in preseason game number 1 by the 3-ball from Waters, 91-90 in Honolulu, Hawaii. Welcome into your post-game Clippers talk show. I'm Adam Moslin. Coming up, we'll get to your final box score. Chuck Mockler will be here from Clips and Dip. But first, back out to Stan Sheriff Center with your radio voice of the Clippers in Carlo Jimenez. Carlo, we had a fun one down the stretch, and it was Waters' world late there, I guess, for Golden State.
5 of 7, Adam. Impressive stuff from Lindy Waters, who, no surprise, Sam Presti goes out and drafts a guy in this late second round, and what does he get? A pure shooter who was able to knock down a ton of threes, finished the game with a team-high 15 points. And he got the look he wanted, he got the space he wanted, and he knocked down the three after the Clippers defense was impressive. And you get 2 deflections on that last possession. You get 1 stop. You think you're good with 1.7. But Lindy Waters, a little too much space, a little too late. Good learning for that young group. It was fun to watch the entire time. Fun to call. I think Clippers basketball being back. We missed it. We needed it. As you said, we didn't feel whole. I feel a lot better. And I can't wait to do it again on Tuesday.
Yes, sir. Clippers game number 2 against the Brooklyn Nets from Oceanside in San Diego at the Clippers' new G League facility. G League. We'll have some fun there as well. I believe that's a radio exclusive, but more in the second half of this one. Before we get to the starters, Kobe Brown really asserted himself well in that second half, especially with 11 points, 9 boards, when the Clippers couldn't find any offense. In fact, they had just 3 points 5 minutes into the second half. Kobe Brown kind of took control of this ball game for the Clippers on that end, Carlo.
He was aggressive, Adam. I almost wonder if Coach Lue is going to go back there and ask him to be a little more aggressive. Team high 27 minutes. Felt like he could have taken a couple more shots. He was getting by Quentin Post time and time again, but towards the end of the game, getting into the paint and hesitating a little bit, looking for his teammates. There's an opportunity here for everybody, but I think especially for Kobe Brown, because what separates him from maybe the rest of the guards, Adam, is the size for Kobe Brown. You're talking about someone who's 6'7", 240. He's got the length. He's got the width. He's a lot quicker, it seems like, this offseason. I feel like he looks a lot more comfortable with the basketball than we've seen in seasons before, and he's going to have opportunities. Look, Oceanside's coming up quick. The Clippers probably don't get in till 2 to 3 a.m. tonight. Into LA. Don't expect a lot of those starters to play. I think a lot of the guys who played the second half on will get even more minutes when we see them at front wave.
Yeah, maybe some more from Jordan Miller, maybe some more from Cam Christie. Bones Highland had a couple of buckets for them. But let's talk about the starters, because it was the James Harden Ivica Zubac show with a little bit of Norman Powell sprinkled in that first half. James Harden, we've talked a lot about his conditioning and where he looks, and he's mentioned it himself. This is the best shape he's been in almost 7 years right now, and it showed in that first half. He had a quick first step. He also was able to draw a 4-point play. I like what we're seeing right now from the bearded wonder and a system that he is in James Harden.
Yeah, 8 assists, Adam. The Clippers as a team had 21 today. So you want to talk about a system. When he was on the floor, they were moving the basketball, 2 steals as well. It was fun to watch James Harden really conduct the offense. I feel like it took us a while last year to watch him take the reins of the offense, but clearly he is comfortable in that role. That's exactly the role he played today. And the Clippers, no need to have him warm up to a group of 3 other Hall of Famers like he did last season. You see the difference in his comfortability. He was excellent today. Also, throughout the game, Adam, talking to teammates, talking to guys on the floor, speaking with Chris Dunn throughout the second half, being a communicator, being a team leader. This is someone who loves ball. I think James Harden sometimes doesn't get the rap he deserves when it comes to the work he puts in and how often he's in the gym, how much he's working. clearly it's working for him right now, but also that leadership, that second component is so good to see because he's going to have to be the head of the snake. As you talked about with Lon Murray earlier this week, this is his team. I mean, this is his team, and James Harden looked like this was his team today, the way he conducted things.
And he is very comfortable running the show. He's been doing it for a long time. A James Harden offense tends to be a very efficient one. Part of the reason is he loves using his big man rolling to the basket and finding him for some easy ones. And in this ball game, in just 18 minutes, Big Zoo had 14 and 6, 5 of 6 from the floor. And I like the array of moves we saw from him, finishing with the right hand, finishing with the left hand. The coordination's there. Big Zoo is primed for a big season here, Carlo.
Yeah, he looked so comfortable at him in the paint, double team, triple team. It didn't really matter. He looked like he could get to any spot he wanted. Even had one post up where he took a couple dribbles, spins right shoulder, gets to that right hand, and just an easy finish over the top. Zubats looked good. The Clippers clearly trying to post him up more, be more assertive with him. Good to see him seeming like he's in tip-top shape. Him and James Harden combining for 27 in this one, both of them leading the way for the Clippers. That's what they're going to need. It's going to have to be that 1-2 punch. The Clippers finished bottom 10 in pick and roll a season ago. It has to be higher than that this season, and I wouldn't be surprised if that James Harden, Ivica Zubats pick and roll. And James Harden got Clint Capella a lot of money and a lot of touches over there at Houston. I could see Ivica Zubats getting the same sort of treatment here with James Harden as his mate in the pick and roll with the Clippers.
Norman Powell was cash on the first bucket of the ball game with that three-pointer he knocked down on his way to 11 points, an efficient 11. Of course, it's Norman Powell, 5 of 7 shooting, but the aggressiveness, he got the start, and I felt like he made the most of that opportunity here in preseason game number 1.
Every year, Adam, he has said, I want to start for this team, and this is probably the best opportunity he's had since being a Clipper with the absence of Paul George. Norman Powell's got a chance to be a consistent starter with this team, and it's his for the taking, and he finished positive in the plus-minus. You talked about it, uber efficient, even got an assist and a rebound in there along with a block shot. He was active on the defensive end and got a lot of deflections, his hands on the basketball. It was nice to see Norman Powell be that efficient player, not take too many steps. The floater was working for him. If Norman Powell can get to that downhill with the left hand, that right-handed floater off the box is something he loves to get to. Got it going early. He was aggressive, and it was good to see the Clippers clearly getting prime Norm, which they're going to need. I mean, you've talked about it. Defense is here. Offense might be at a premium for this Clipper team. That's what we know right now. We've watched them play 48 minutes. We have 4 more of these games. We'll probably have different opinions at the end of that. But Norman Powell's got a chance to be a huge weapon for this Clippers team in that starting lineup.
One more for you here. Another weapon for this team, I think, could be KPJ. He came off the bench. He played 16 minutes, and while he was just 1 of 5 from the field, that one lone bucket he made was a spinning jumper on the right elbow, a tough shot, showing off the high skill level and aptitude to be able to score out there. He missed some gimmies. I think it's just a guy who hasn't played this high level of basketball in some time, but I'm interested to see how much run he ends up getting Tuesday night in San Diego, because this is someone who we know is very talented, has averaged 19 points per game in this league, and I wonder how much of an opportunity he'll have here in the preseason to show off what he can do and see if he can knock off some of that rust as well.
Yeah, I mean, the most impressive thing about Kevin Porter Jr., like you said, the skill is there. I mean, his ability to handle the basketball, to be comfortable in tight spaces. He's in the paint being sandwiched by 3 or 4 defenders. He does not look flustered. He does not look worried. He gets to his spot. First game for him in a while at the NBA level. Obviously, there's going to be a little bit rust that he's going to have to knock off. We saw it with everyone here. Curry started 0 for 6. Kevin Knox missed his first dunk. No one really, outside of Norman Powell, seemed that comfortable right out of the gate. So no surprise there. I'm sure he'll get more run. 16 minutes today. Did get to the free throw line a lot. 5 for 7 from the line in those 16 minutes. I believe he shot 7 free throws in the first 7 minutes of action, too. So more opportunities for Kevin Porter Jr. There's a reason the Clippers scheduled 5 preseason games. They don't know exactly what they have. There's a lot of newness to this team, and that's what they're going to get to figure out in these next 4 contests, and we'll continue to just learn more, to add more. As Ty Lue talked about, it's not so much about who plays well. It's about who plays well with who. So combinations are the most important thing. And I thought, Adam, after maybe the middle of the third quarter, the Clippers really found a rhythm offensively with that unit. They seemed to ride the rest of the game.
Looking for the pieces to fit and be a little bit more in sync after they had a 20 turnover game in this one. But to their credit, only 6 turnovers in the second half for the Clippers. They seem to get a handle on it. Tuesday night, as Carlo mentioned, Clippers will be in Oceanside taking on the Brooklyn Nets. Tip time for that one's at 7:30. We'll have your pregame show right back here starting at 6:30. Carlo, my friend, safe travels. See you in San Diego. I think we may be carpooling together for that Clippers contest against the Nets.
I can't wait, Adam. Going to be a blast. Off to San Diego. We got another game. Let's go. We're back, baby.
Let's go. We're back and not done yet here in your Clippers postgame show. Taking you till the top of the hours. The Clippers fall on a game-winning three-pointer by Waters of the Golden State Warriors, 91-90 in preseason game number 1 in Honolulu, Hawaii. More coming up next right here on the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Sky is blue. Waters is wet with a three-pointer to beat the Clippers in preseason game number 1. Lindy Waters, the third, makes it 91-90, your final. Golden State was down too late. They needed it. They got it. Tough shot. Tip your cap. Clippers still held them to 91 points. Welcome back into your post-game show. I'm Adam Osland. If you're watching on the YouTube live side, coming up in just a little bit here, we'll also have Charles Chuck Mockler on from Clips and Dip. We'll get to share me your questions. I want to get through some of the box score here, though. Clippers overall shot just 38.5% from the floor. Golden State was only at 34%. The difference, though, the Clippers had 6 more turnovers. After 14 came in the first half, just 6 in the second half, but still a total of 20. That was brutal. That's actually where the Golden State Warriors ended up. So the real difference, offensive rebounds. Golden State was a plus 10 in that area, 19-9 when it came to offensive rebounds. Golden State with the advantage there. Clippers did get to the charity stripe a lot, thanks to James Harden, who went 8 of 8, and then Kevin Porter Jr., who missed a couple, 5 of 7 from the free throw line. But I think that's one of the ways he can be a weapon for this team with his hezzy dribble, with his ability to get defenders off balance. He knows how to draw fouls. He's been called bargain bin James Harden, or a poor man's James Harden, you could say at times. Kevin Porter Jr. played 16 minutes. Didn't get, I don't think, any run in the second half, but ended up with 7 points, just 1 of 5 shooting. I found his game to be interesting because the lefty there, it does remind you a little bit of James Harden, a lot of ISO ball. He isn't, a future Hall of Famer or even close at this point. James Harden, he looked like all of it in this game. 17 minutes, 13 points, 8 assists. He only had 2 turnovers, and he did all that work in just 17 minutes, including a step-back three-pointer. He got to go and won. 4-point play. Drew the foul, as he has been doing for so long, and defenders keep falling for it. Had showed some nice burst off with getting a bucket to go with the left-hand scoop shot at the rim as he blew by a defender. Also had a couple of steals. The quick hands, James Harden showed those off. Ivica Zubac, he was the recipient of a lot of those passes from James Harden. With those 8 assists, I don't know how many went to Big Zoo. I'd say at least 4. Ivica Zubac got 5 buckets to go, had 14 and 6. Used the right hand, used the left hand, had a big throwdown with both hands. Big Zoo is him and must be featured more this season if the Clippers are going to be successful. Paul George in Philly now, you got to make up for some of that offensive production. Ivica Zubac has been ready for some time now to step into that role and fill the void and fill up the box score. Now when it comes to points, 14 points in just 18 minutes for Ivica Zubac. Did have 3 turnovers, has to be careful there. Norman Powell looked to be in midseason form. He got the start. Your starting lineup was DJJ, Ivica Zubac, James Harden, Norman Powell, and Chris Dunn. And, well, Norman Powell getting this starting opportunity and also is trying to fill it up a little bit with no Paul George. 15 minutes, 5 of 7, hit the first bucket of a game, a three-pointer, finished with 11 points in 15 minutes, 1 of 2 overall from distance. As I mentioned, 5 of 7 from the floor. Also had a really nice block defensively on the far side short corner where he was defending. And that is something he's going to have to do. Norman Powell, he's got to look much better on the defensive end and with his playmaking if he wants to be in the starting lineup. But if the Clippers don't have Kawhi Leonard, it may just be out of necessity that he plays more and gets a few starts here and there, maybe early on, maybe October 23rd, first game at Intuit Dome, first game of the season for the Clippers against the Phoenix Suns. We'll see. They need more scoring punch. If they're not going to have Kawhi Leonard to start the season, and we'll update you on Kawhi in just a little bit, Norman Powell may be looked upon to start ball games, even though we know how great he is coming off the bench. Maybe then is Kevin Porter Jr. filling that role. Bones Highland, he had his moments here, but I'm still a little bit concerned on whether or not the coaching staff values him and what he can bring, considering the guys they brought in with Chris Dunn and with Kevin Porter Jr. It just looks like the writing is on the wall that maybe Bones Highland's days as a Clipper appear to be numbered a little bit if they decide to move him, if a team would like to make a move for him. We'll see. It takes two to tango. Kai Jones trying to get that final two-way spot. He's competing there. No Mo Bamba. He was out with a knee injury, so Kai Jones plays 22 minutes, and I want to say about 15 straight at one point in the second half, played the entire third quarter. Just 4 points right before he came out of the ball game. He had a nice little scoop layup and one. Couldn't make the free throw, but had a dunk on a 3-on-1 before that. Problem was overall, Kai Jones just a little bit helter-skelter with it. Was inconsistent offensively and just didn't look that comfortable out there. The athleticism is there. The feel for the game at times, it just seems like it's moving too fast for him. He really wasn't setting tough screens, wasn't being as physical there. I know the coaching staff will likely get on him for that. Did have a couple of blocks, but he just needs to be a little bit more in tune offensively and then also show some more fundamentals when it comes to boxing out your man, even though he did have 6 boards. Clippers fall 91-90 on a game-winning three-pointer by Waters for the Golden State Warriors in preseason game number 1 in Honolulu, Hawaii. Coming up, we'll have Chuck Mockler on from Clips and Dip as we're taking you to the top of the hour here in the Clippers postgame show on the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Lindy Waters was hot, a little too hot. With that three-pointer to win it over the Clippers, 91-90, your final in preseason game number 1 from Honolulu, Hawaii. Welcome back in. I'm Adam Osland. This is your Clippers post-game show. Clippers next contest coming up, preseason game number 2 in Oceanside. That will be a 7:30 tip. Pregame starting right back here at 6:30 on the Patriot AM 1150, or you can watch on Clippers Talk on YouTube. Speaking of, joining the show right now is our friend Chuck Mockler here, who you can now see. Chuck, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Buzzer beater loss against the Warriors in the preseason doesn't feel great, but I don't know. It's game 1. I'm trying not to overreact. I'm mostly just excited that Harden and Sue look so solid together. And it feels like we are seeing some good process building with like Terrence and Chris Dunn in terms of crashing the boards and stuff like that. So I'm trying to just hold on to the positives.
That's a great point. I thought Terrence Mann had a couple of really nice rebounds, just securing the basketball, boxing out his man, doing the little things. And that is something that is going to be asked of him and everyone collectively because they're playing small a lot. They haven't been a good rebounding team. The only way to improve is to find your man and put a body on him. And Terrence Mann was able to do that.
Yeah, it was nice to see. And you look at his shot attempts, his one make was a pretty crazy reverse layup that was cool to see, but he passed up a 3 to take it, which I hope that changes. I know that's kind of what we've all been clamoring for with Terrence Mann. He didn't start tonight, which I'm not ready to read a bunch into yet. I think if he doesn't start a single preseason game, then maybe we talk. But I think part of it was giving Jeff Van Gundy stuff to yell about to the team while they're still in. And he has a lot to yell about after today's game.
A lot of miscues, a lot of turnovers, 14 of them in the first half. They cleaned it up a little bit in the second half with just 6 of them. They also only had 3 points the first 5 minutes of the second half of the ball game, which was rough to see. And then Kobe Brown kind of did what Kobe Brown does at his best, which is run an offense through him, let him be the decision maker. Also made some scrappy plays, had a nice putback, but drove right, drove left. This was a good game from Kobe Brown, I feel like.
Yeah, started in foul trouble, which I feel like is something we can say every time that he comes into a game, and maybe have said that. He lacks some foot speed, which gets him into foul trouble early, but he did what he usually does. Like you mentioned, he settles well too. He kind of understands how to play whatever reffing is happening, albeit after getting some fouls. But no, good decisions. He bullied small defenders. I mean, he had the most boards on the team. He was almost at a double-double, which is pretty surprising. But I thought it was nice that him and Jordan Miller were trusted in those moments. You know what I mean? Like, sure, it's nice to see the good process, but seeing Ty Lue be like, hey, this is a close game. You guys are the two who have the best chance of kind of anyone on the court right now to get real time. Let's see what you can do in crunch time with real coaching happening.
People are talking in the comments section saying we want more Jordan Miller. Well, he played 18 minutes and only made 1 shot, but did have the 2 deflections on the inbounds pass at the very end before Golden State got the victory. I think this is a good example of there's levels to this because while I expect him to play more and to play better and look for his offense a little bit more, he got a little runner in the lane, a push shot to go, something he did a lot in the summer league. But you look at where Amir Coffey's at when it comes to offensive production. And he had a quick 7 points in just 10 minutes and looked like a man amongst boys. Also had a really good defensive play in transition where the Clippers struggled all game. It's like guys get enamored with Jordan Miller because they saw him playing against lesser competition in the summer league. If Amir Coffey is playing in the summer league, he's the MVP. You know, it's really difficult to evaluate guys depending on competition sometimes. I am high on Jordan Miller. Don't get me wrong, but maybe we should pump the brakes on him taking the spot of Amir Coffey right now.
Yeah, I was surprised. Law tweeted out that list of 10 guys who practiced with Ty Lue the other day, and I know it is just preseason and things change, but Jordan Miller's name wasn't in that 10, which I thought was kind of interesting. I hope we see that progress, and I hope his camp gets better. I think they know what they have offensively with Jordan Miller. You get him downhill, and Justin Russo tweeted this, he can make things happen, and the Clippers are going to need a guy to just kind of make some stuff happen at some points. So his defense is where he needs to show that he fits into this Clippers team. I think he has a longer wingspan than Amir, which is kind of Amir's main knock, is that he has like a neutral wingspan. So if he can get, again, and this is a common thread with all the young guys, right? If they can get their defense right, they're going to, clamor for some time in these Clippers lineups.
I know he looked rusty at times, but I still felt like I saw the guy who averaged 19 points per game for the Houston Rockets a little bit in Kevin Porter Jr. and just the way he can handle the ball. ISO, the bucket he got was a crazy turnaround, right elbow kind of fadeaway jumper. You see the skill set, and I made the gutsy proclamation, or maybe gave in to the angry mob who's been saying he needs to start at the 2 spot, that at some point this season, I do think he's going to be starting at the 2. Chuck, how wild of a statement did I just make?
I don't. So for those of you who missed the game, and I just want to run just the box score, because I watched 3 quarters of this game. Forgive me, I did not watch the 4th quarter. I did watch us lose on the buzzer beater, but Kevin Porter was 1 for 5. He was a team worst -11, and he had 4 turnovers. So I don't know. Again, some of that is lineup stuff. We just have to wait and see. He looked rusty. I don't think he looked like a guy who hadn't played in a minute, but you can see the athleticism. You just hope the decision making's there. And Wolves, I mean, he's beat out, Jordan Miller and other guys for time with if you look at the rotation tonight, which Ty Lue kind of said don't go too crazy looking into, you see a guy who is going to, maybe he's already clamoring for time and guys are going to have to beat him out.
We'll see if it happens Tuesday night in Oceanside. Clippers taking on the Brooklyn Nets. Tip-off at 7:30, pregame at 6:30. For Chuck Mockler, I'm Adam Oslin, and we must run here on the Patriot AM 1150. Thank you, Chuck. Clipper Nation, talk to you next time.
Always.